Hello students, hope you're following the previous videos and enjoying them as well, understanding them as well. Last class we studied the different types of spherical mirrors. One type we studied was a convex mirror, another type we studied was a concave mirror. Okay, so we also studied the difference between a convex mirror and a concave mirror. Like today, in today's class we are going to study, for that matter we also studied the rules for image formation by these two types of mirrors, right? So based on that knowledge, today we are going to study how are images formed by spherical mirrors, how are we able to see things in spherical mirrors, right? So let us see. Okay, so this type of mirror which is there over here, now can you tell me? Yes, this is a concave mirror. Okay, so let us just quickly revise all the things. We know that this is a concave mirror, as this is a part of a spherical surface, a sphere. It will have a center of curvature. It will also have a focus. The point, the center of the mirror is called as a pole, right? The line joining the pole and the center of curvature is also called as principal axis, right? Okay. Distance between pole and focus is called as focal length, and distance between center of curvature and pole is called as radius of curvature. Okay, all things good. Now, this class we are going to study image formations by a concave mirror as well as a convex mirror. Now, as far as a concave mirror is concerned, we are going to take 6 positions. Okay, we are going to keep our object at 6 positions, and we are going to draw ray diagrams and see where is the image formed in each case. Just to give you an idea, I'm on the basis of this diagram, I'm going to tell you the 6 positions. Number 1, what we are going to do, we're going to keep our object at infinity. This is infinity, so I'll keep my object at infinity. This is my object at infinity. This is the first position. Second position, I am going to keep my object beyond the center of curvature. So this is my object beyond center of curvature. Third position is going to be at center of curvature. Fourth position is going to be between focus and center of curvature. Fifth position will be at focus, and sixth position will be between pole and focus. Okay, so these are going to be the 6 positions that we are going to study in today's class. Okay, can we just revise once again? Okay, first object will be at infinity. Secondly, we are coming closer and closer towards the pole. We are coming closer over here in this way. So object distance, this we are going to study later, but object distance is always denoted by u. Object distance is denoted by small u, right? The object, initially the object is at infinity. Secondly, this can be position 1, this is your position 2, this is your position 3, 4, 5 and 6. Second is beyond C, that means beyond center of curvature. Third is at C, that means we'll keep our object at center of curvature. Fourth, between focus and center of curvature. Fifth will be at focus. Okay, and sixth is between pole and center of curvature, right? So these are the 6 positions that we are going to study, and how are the images formed when we keep the object at these positions. Let's see now. Okay, so image formation by concave mirror. As we have already discussed, see, this is the first position. Object will be at infinity. Okay, now if the object is at infinity, where is the image formed? The image will always be formed at focus, right? How is the size? There are always, whenever the image is formed, we always need to see two things. First, size of the image. Second, very important, nature of the image. Nature is always of two types. Okay, nature can either be real and virtual. If it is a real image, obviously it has to be inverted. If it is a virtual image, obviously it has to be erect. Okay, so these two things will come in nature. Now, as far as size is concerned, size will again be of two things. Either it will be highly diminished, right, or point size, or it will be diminished, that is little smaller than the object. Secondly, it will be of the same size, enlarged, highly enlarged, and then again enlarged. So let's see, as we go on changing the positions of the object, how the images are formed. First, as I told you, when the object is kept at infinity, the image is always formed at the focus. Now, how is that possible? Let's see now. Can you see this? This is your first position. So always remember, whenever the object is at infinity, anything which is at infinity, the light rays which come from infinity are always parallel. Always parallel. Remember this in any scenario, be it refraction, reflection, through mirrors, through lenses, anything. Light rays are always parallel when they are coming from infinity, right? Remember this. Okay, so see, we know light rays are parallel. If you see over here, light rays which are coming from there, they are parallel to the principal axis. Yes, they are parallel to the principal axis. And what is the first rule? We, in the last class, yes, we did the first rule. What was the first rule? If light rays, incident light rays, are parallel to the principal axis, reflected rays are going to pass through focus. Yes, so these are the light rays which are parallel to the principal axis. They are going to pass through focus. This is your first rule, right? Yes or no? Yes, we had discussed this. Okay, so this is your first image formation. Okay, so now where is the image formed? The image is formed at focus. How is the image? So wherever the reflected rays meet, that point your image is formed. Okay, I will denote incident ray by IR. I will denote incident ray by IR, reflected ray by RR. Okay, so you need to remember that. So now the incident ray being parallel to the principal axis, reflected ray are passing through focus. How is the image? The image is highly diminished. It is point size. And as the image is formed in front of the mirror, it is going to be a real and inverted image. Always remember, we had discussed this in last class. Images which are formed behind the mirror, for example, if you observe this case number 6, in sixth case, if you see this A dash B dash, this image is formed behind the mirror, hence it's a virtual image, right? Images in case of mirrors, spherical mirrors, images which are formed in front of the mirror are always real. Images which are formed behind the mirror are always virtual. Okay, so there goes our first diagram. Second position, what was it? It was beyond C. So now this is infinity, this is beyond C. Okay, one ray, we are always, you need to take any two rays. Okay, we had studied three types of rays in the rules. One ray parallel to principal axis, another ray passing through focus, and third ray passing through center of curvature. So in this case, what we'll do, we'll take one ray which is parallel to principal axis. Second ray, it's passing through focus. If you passing through center of curvature. So if you see, So this ray is passing through center of curvature. Now, the ray which is parallel to principal axis, where it is bound to go from, the reflected ray will go from focus. It will pass through focus. If you can see, it is passing through focus. Ray which is going through center of curvature, how is the path of the reflected ray? The path of the reflected ray will be same. It will retrace the same path. So it is passing through center of curvature and coming back like that. Now, where are these two rays meeting? Okay, these two rays are meeting at this point. So now this point becomes my image point. If my image is standing like this, AB, and from point A, from the head, the two rays are emanating. So the point of intersection will be again point A itself. So we will denote it as A dash, B dash. Okay, so that means this is an inverted image. Where is it formed? It is formed between center of curvature and focus, right? And how is the size of the image? Size of the image is diminished. That means it is smaller than the object. You can see it over here. It is smaller than the object, right? And nature, real and inverted. Okay? Three things you need to see. Whenever U, what is U? U is your object position. Whenever object position is given, first thing you need to find is V. What is V? V is always your image position, or you can say image distance. Okay, you need to find out V. Once V is found out, you need to find out nature and size. This will describe the entire image formation. Okay. Third scenario. Third scenario, we had discussed what was it? It was at C. First at infinity. Now slowly we are coming forward. What is the second scenario? Beyond center of curvature. Now third scenario, at center of curvature. That means at C. If you see this, now this object AB is at C. Now one ray I am taking parallel to the principal axis. It is passing through focus. Another ray I am taking is passing through focus. So if it's passing through focus, it has to be parallel to, reflected ray has to be parallel to principal axis. So now these two rays meet at the same point just below the center of curvature. Now this is where my image is formed. So what will I say? The image formed over here is at the same, I mean, where is the image formed? Image is formed at C itself, right? It's formed at C. What is the size of the image? Size of the image is same. Nature of the image, it's real or inverted as the image is formed in front of the mirror. Okay, so whenever the object is kept at center of curvature, image is also formed at center of curvature, and it will be of same size, real and inverted. Let's see the fourth scenario. Now again, infinity, beyond C, at C. Fourth will be between C and F, right? So it is between C and F. Again, one ray I am taking parallel to principal axis. It has to pass through focus. Another ray I have directed it towards the center of curvature. Now when this ray is directed towards the center of curvature, again it will follow the same path. As it is following the same path, we can see these two rays are meeting over here. Okay, so now this becomes your image point. What is the position of the image? The position of the image is beyond the center of curvature. Okay, again, as it is formed in front of the mirror, it will be real and inverted. And if you observe the size, what is the size? Size is magnified, right? Yes, the size of the image in this case is magnified. So what is the nature of image? Real inverted, size is magnified, position of the image beyond center of curvature. Fifth scenario. Fifth scenario, what was it? At focus. So at focus, we know one ray I am taking through center of curvature. It is retracing the same path. Another, again, parallel to principal axis, passing through focus. And if you observe these rays are coming out as parallel. So whenever we get a beam of parallel rays, we have to consider that they are going at infinity. Parallel rays are always either go to infinity or they are coming from infinity. Always remember that. Okay, right. So now there's a special position. Okay, this is the only exceptional position in case of a concave mirror where we are going to get a virtual image. Very important. Most of the questions will be based on this part, and this part actually has a lot of applications in our day-to-day life, right? Okay, so see, observe. What was my sixth position? My sixth position, when was my object was kept between pole and focus. So now when the object is kept between pole and focus, if you see, I have taken one ray which is passing through center of curvature. Obviously, it is retracing the same path. The second ray, I have taken the fourth rule. What was the fourth rule? That if it is if the ray is obliquely at an angle to the pole, if the incident ray is making an angle with the principal axis, it will follow the law of reflection. That means my I will be equal to R, and this is my reflected ray. Okay, but when are these rays meeting anywhere? Because these both are divergent rays. This is going in this direction, this is going in this direction. So at no point they are going to meet in front of the mirror. That means this type of image which is going to be formed is a type of a virtual image. So when I just extend these rays, can you see these dotted lines? When I extend these rays, they are meeting at a point behind the mirror. So now this point becomes my image point. Okay, so as the image is formed behind the mirror, we are able to see that image. Okay, and what will be the nature of image? Nature of image will be virtual and erect. If you have observed in the first 5 images, all the images were inverted. They were formed in front of the mirror. So all these are real images. At the sixth position, when the object was kept between pole and focus, where is the image formed? The image is formed behind the mirror. It is virtual, it is erect. Okay, and we will be able to see that image in the mirror, right? Okay, this last position has a lot of applications. Okay, we are going to study applications of concave mirrors as well, uses of concave mirror. In that, I'll explain you why is this particular position so important, because we can actually see that image in the mirror. Okay, for the first 5 positions, are we able to see the image? No, we are not able to see the image, because these images are real. Unless and until we keep a screen, these images, real images, are always obtained on screen. They can never be seen inside the mirror. Okay, so the sixth position has a lot of applications. Okay, so if you observe the phenomena, and if you observe this table, the first one says, okay, at infinity, position of image is at focus. So for example, if this is your concave mirror, this is the principal axis. As the object is, if you observe, the object is coming close to the concave mirror. As the object is coming close to the concave mirror, the image is going away from the concave mirror, right? If the image is real, so it is going away. So this is, the image is going this way, and the object position is changing this way. So object, distance of the object from the mirror is decreasing. On the contrary, distance of the image from the mirror is increasing. So as far as the 6 cases are concerned, first case, at infinity, position of the image at focus. Second case, beyond center of, now we are coming closer to the mirror. Beyond center of curvature, the image is formed between focus and center of curvature. Third position, they meet. If the object is at center of curvature, position is also at center, image is also formed at the center of curvature. Fourth position, object is again coming closer between C and F, center of curvature and focus. The image is formed beyond center of curvature. Fifth, again more close to the object at focus, image is formed at infinity. That is the longest an image can go. After that, what is the situation? After that, the image formed will be a virtual image. That means the image will be formed behind the mirror. Okay, and it will always be an enlarged, virtual and erect. Very important position that we have to consider. Okay, so if you see the size, in the first case it's highly diminished point size, then it is a little bit larger than diminished. Okay, third case, it is the size is same. Fourth case, it is enlarged. Fifth case, when it goes to infinity, the size of the image is highly enlarged. even if you see the trend in sizes, it is going on increasing, right? In the last one, obviously it's an enlarged image. For the first 5 cases, it will always be a real and inverted image. And for the last case, it's a virtual image. Very, very important. Understood how to learn this table. This table is very, very important from exam point of view. You need to learn, as in, unless and until you don't understand this table, you won't be able to learn it. Okay, just don't learn it randomly. Understand and learn it. Okay, clear with the diagrams? I'll revise again. See, I'll try to draw the images over here. So if you observe, object position at infinity. So let us draw a concave mirror. This is my principal axis, pole, focus, center of curvature. Where is the object? The object is at infinity. Whenever the object is at infinity, how are the rays? The rays are always parallel to the principal axis, and according to the rule, when the rays are parallel to principal axis, they have to pass through focus. Okay, this is the focus. They have to pass through focus. So here is the image formed. How is the image? The image is at focus, image position, nature, real and inverted, size, highly diminished. Okay. Now, second position, where is the object kept? The object is kept beyond center of curvature. Again, pole, focus, center of curvature. So here is the object now. Object is always should be named as A and B. Right, now we'll take the rays. So one ray parallel to principal axis, where it is passing through focus. It's always important to make arrows because that will show you what is the direction that they are going. Okay, second ray which I'm taking over here would be passing through center of curvature. So I know whenever it is passing through center of curvature, I have to come back the same path. Okay, so now where is my image formed? My image is formed over here. That is between center of curvature and focus. How is the nature of image? Obviously, it is formed in front. So it will be a real and inverted image. Size is diminished. Next, we have at center of curvature, pole, focus, center of curvature. So now I'll keep my object at center of curvature. Okay, first ray, what we have to do? First ray, again parallel to principal axis, passing through focus. Next ray I'll take passing through focus. It will be parallel to principal axis. Okay, where are these two rays meeting? These two rays meeting are at this point. So now this is my image. So actually it should be on the same side. Okay, so at center of curvature, image is also at center of curvature. How is the nature of image? Formed in front of the mirror. So it's real and inverted. Size will always be same. So size is also on an increasing trend over here, right? Next position, what do we have? Again, pole, focus, center of curvature. Now, where is my object? Object position. Object position is between focus and center of curvature. So I am keeping the object between focus and center of curvature. One ray, incident ray, parallel to principal axis. Where it will pass? It will pass through focus. Another ray, I have directed it towards center of curvature. So what will happen? it will hit it in this and it will again retrace the same path. So if I take this again beyond, so these rays are meeting at this particular point over here. They are meeting at this point. So there is my image is formed. So the yellow one is the image. It is beyond C, real inverted and enlarged. Then we have at focus. Again, first thing is to draw a principal axis. Once principal axis is drawn, mark pole, mark your focus and mark center of curvature. Always remember, for the distance between pole, focus and center of curvature should be same. Okay, if you're taking 2 centimeters of pole and focus, please take 2 centimeters between center of curvature and focus as well, otherwise the diagrams will go wrong. Okay, so now keep it, this was the position at focus. Okay, now this is at focus, one ray parallel passing through focus, another ray directed towards center of curvature, which is being parallel. Okay, so now where are these? I have told you where are the parallel rays always come from. Parallel rays always come from infinity. So the images formed at infinity, images formed at infinity are always highly enlarged. We cannot see them, and it is formed in front of the mirror, so that's why it's real and inverted. Now the most special position that we have, that is going to be the last position. Principal axis, pole, focus, center of curvature. I'll keep my object between pole and center of curvature. One ray parallel to principal axis, reflected ray is going to pass through the focus. Another ray, I have directed it towards the center of curvature and it is going like this. Okay, so if you see these two rays which are in front of the mirror, they are diverged, they are not going to meet anyhow. But if I take these rays behind the mirror, if I take dotted lines, they meet at a point over here, and now this point is going to be my image point. Always takes the arrow properly. So now this is going to be my A dash and B dash. Okay, this is how your image formation should be whenever you draw images for concave mirror. Understood? Okay, try to practice this as, yes, let's see now. Okay, now we come to uses of concave mirrors. Now concave mirrors are used in a variety of things. In day-to-day, as you can see the images, it is used in your torches, okay, torch bulbs. It is also used in giving a parallel beam of light. It is also used in the headlight of the cars. It is used as makeup and shaving mirrors. It is also used by dentists to get larger images of our teeth. Okay, and it is used as a dish antenna to catch signals. Okay, in it is in a concave form, right? Yes. Okay, so concave mirrors are used in torches, searchlights and headlights of vehicles so that we can get a parallel beam of light. Now how is a parallel beam of light we will get a parallel beam of light by using a concave mirror? Just for example, if you, this is the focus of the mirror, you know, whatever is kept at focus, the images are the image formed will be at infinity, right? So when a ray is passing through focus, the image, the reflected rays are going to go to infinity. So in searchlights or in torchlights, what happens is they keep the small bulb at focus so that the reflected rays will go to infinity. So this is the way we will get parallel beam of light. Okay, so parallel beam of light are very useful in searchlights, headlights of the cars, and torches. Now, they are also used in shaving mirrors to see a larger image of self. This was I was talking about. This is the last position. Okay, wherein you get a virtual image which is behind the mirror. Behind the mirror, that means we can see the images, and the images are enlarged. Even this dentists, the mirrors which are used by dentists to see larger images of teeth, these are always also concave mirrors, wherein the last position is used. That means when the object is kept between pole and focus, right? The this one, they are also used to get concentrated sunlight in solar furnaces. So in solar furnaces, what do they do? Okay, what where for example, I'll just show you this. This is a solar furnace. In a solar furnace, they keep these concave mirrors inside the solar furnaces. So what happens is, in a solar furnace, where is the heat or sunlight that is coming from? It's coming from the sun. Now sun is at infinity. The sun being at infinity, how are the rays going to come? They are going to come in a parallel form, right? So when these rays come in parallel form like this, we know whenever the rays come in a parallel form, they get concentrated at the focus. So this is the way they get concentrated at the focus. So the entire heat is getting concentrated at one point, and we are able to get heat in a concentrated form over here. So example, if we just keep you can say any food material which we want to cook or which we want to heat up, that thing will get heated up. Okay, so this is the way it is used in solar cookers and solar heating furnaces. Okay, now we come to image formations by a convex mirror. Now, as there were 6 positions that we had analyzed for concave mirror, there are only 2 positions in case of a convex mirror. Rules are same. Okay, there will be only 2 positions in case of a convex mirror, because the speciality of the convex mirror is that all the images whatever object distance you keep from the pole, all the images are going to be virtual and erect. That means they are always formed behind the mirror. Another important thing to remember, images formed by convex mirror are always smaller than the objects. Okay, so if you see over here, they are, in the first case it's highly diminished or point size, in the second case is diminished. Okay, so they are always, as we have seen, that means concave mirror is the only mirror where we are going to get a larger image of the object, right? In case of a convex mirror, though the images are virtual and erect, but we will see point size or smaller images. Now let us see the image formations. So the positions of the object that they have considered will be only 2. One, the object will be at infinity. Secondly, the object is between pole and the mirror. So let's see the image formations. See over here. As you know, concave mirror is like this. Okay, this is the reflecting, the bulged out portion will be the reflecting portion. It's a diverging mirror. So when you see parallel beams touching the incident ray, parallel incident ray touching the convex mirror, they are diverged out. Okay, so after diverging out, we know that they are not going to meet in front of the mirror in any way because they are diverged. So what do? We will take these rays behind the mirror in a dotted manner, and then they are considered to meet at a point that we call that point as focus of the convex mirror. So here, this is where the image is formed. How is the image? The image is highly diminished. You can say it is point sized. What is the nature of image? Nature of image will be virtual and erect. Secondly, now after infinity, we can take any position for that matter between pole and infinity, be it beyond center of curvature, be it at center of curvature, then between focus and center of curvature, at focus, between pole and focus, anywhere between pole and beyond center of curvature, we are going to get the same type of image. So what we have considered, one ray is parallel to the principal axis. It is going to diverge and appear to come from a point that is this focus. Another ray is directed towards the center of curvature, so it is going to follow the same path. Now this ray, which is passing through focus, right? This one, and one which is directed towards the center of curvature. They are meeting at this point, and if you observe the image formed over here, the image is always smaller image, or it is always smaller than the object, and it is always virtual and erect. Okay, so image characteristics of a convex mirror, it is always virtual and erect. The images is always formed behind the mirror, and it is always diminished. Okay, understood? Diminished as in it will be always smaller than the object. So these were the two ways wherein images are formed by spherical mirrors. 6 positions we have discussed for concave mirror, 2 positions we have discussed for convex mirror. Now, based on these image characteristics, convex mirror is also used widely in day-to-day applications. Basically, the rear view mirrors of your cars that we have in our vehicles, almost each and every day we sit in our cars. But have you ever imagined how are we able to see the behind view which is there in just a small sized mirror? Have you ever imagined that? Why? Because the which is the type of mirror that's there? The type of mirror which is used over here is the convex mirror. What are the image characteristics of a convex mirror? It is able to, first of all, we are able to see inside the mirror always because virtual images are formed in it. And how are the images? The images are always smaller than the object. So if you have observed, always in the rear view, in the side view mirrors of the car, there is a warning that is given over here. Images in the mirror are closer than they appear, right? And they are also of a smaller size. Because what are the image characteristics of convex mirror? This is a convex mirror, this is the principal axis. If the image is over here, if the object is over here, where is the image going to be formed? The image is always going to be formed behind the mirror. Now it will get diverged, and as we know, the focus of the convex mirror is behind, so it is going over here. And another, it is, for example, this is the center of curvature. It is directed towards the center of curvature. So if it is directed towards the center of curvature, if I say that the mirror is, it is going like this. So here is your image formed. It is always smaller as in comparison. So convex mirrors are used as rear view mirrors in vehicles. Convex mirrors give erect, diminished images of the object. They also give you a wider field of view than the plane mirrors. Okay, so the mirrors which are there in between inside the cars, here is your driver. Okay, here is the another seat that you have. There's a mirror in between the driver and the second seat of the car. So in this mirror, you are able to see an entire wide range of, I mean, you are able to see cars which are coming from left, you are able to see cars which are coming from right as well, because all this entire area, a wider view, a wider field of view is captured in the small mirror. Why? Because this type of a mirror is a convex mirror. Understood? So these were certain applications of convex mirror. Questions are going to be there from this part because it's the application part. So mostly reasoning questions will come from this part. Now we come to sign conventions, right? Okay, so now for calculation of object distance, image distance, focal point, and to understand how the nature of image is going to be there, we need to understand the sign conventions for calculations. Okay, so by default, an object is always on the left side of the mirror, be it a concave mirror, be it convex mirror, object should always be on the left side. So if you observe this pink color arrow is object. Images can be formed anywhere. Images can be formed in front of the mirror. If it's a virtual image, it can be formed behind the mirror. So if you see the distance between pole and the point where object is kept, this distance is always called as the object distance, which is denoted by U. small u. Okay. Secondly, this is where your image is formed. Now the point where the image is formed from pole, so distance between the image point and pole, this distance is always called as image distance, which is denoted by v. So you have two things. First we have u. What is u? Object distance. Then we have v, image distance. Another thing is height. Okay, so as this is object, let us denote the object height as h. What is h? H is always the object height of the object, or you can say size of the object. This is your image height. So image height is denoted by h dash. Image height. In certain textbooks, they also use h1 and h2. So do not get confused. H1 is object height, h2 is image height. In some textbooks, it's h for object height and h dash for image height. That doesn't make a difference. The formulas will remain same. Okay. Now this green point is the focal point. Focal point, from this focus point, the distance between pole and focus will always be your focal length, that's small f. Okay, so these were certain things that you need to remember. 5 major things that we need to remember while solving questions based on formation of images by spherical mirrors. Next, we are going to study the sign convention for spherical mirrors. Okay, when are these u, v, h dash, f for that matter, focal length, when will these be positive or negative? Okay, so it is called as the new Cartesian sign convention for spherical mirrors. We have already, in mathematics, in the subject of mathematics, we have already seen, or we have already studied the Cartesian coordinate system. So it is, if you are aware of that, it is very easy. So this is always our origin. So now the point where we keep the origin for our Cartesian coordinate system, when we apply it to spherical mirrors or we apply it to light, this point becomes your pole. Understood? So this is your pole. Pole is your origin. We know this is my x-axis, xx dash. This is going to be my y-axis, y dash. We know 0 to x is always positive x-axis. 0 to x dash is always going to be a negative x-axis, right? The upper side of the y-axis, OY, is going to be positive y-axis and OY dash is going to be negative y-axis. You just need to remember this and your sign convention for spherical mirrors will be done. Okay, so now according to this sign convention, we know horizontally, so along the x-axis, always the object distances are object or image distances are measured. That is along the horizontal x-axis. Along the y-axis, always your object height or image height is observed. Object or image height. Understood? So horizontal x-axis is always for your object or image distance. Y-axis, up and down, is always for your height, object height or image height. So if you see distances towards the left, okay, distances towards the left of the x-axis are always taken as negative. Distances towards the right are always taken as positive. So can you tell me, we know that by default, how is the, where is the object kept? The object is kept always on the left side of the mirror, right? So that means u by default always has to be negative. Why? Because it is always kept on the negative y-axis. Okay, so if you say, if you consider p as 0 and in the question it comes that the object is kept at a distance of 50 centimeters from the mirror, so that means you will take u as minus 50. Okay, now next thing, as far as the image is concerned, if the image is in front of the mirror, v will be again negative. So that means it depends on the type of image that is formed. So if image formed is a real image, v is going to be negative. Okay, but if the image is formed is a virtual image, so this is a virtual image, that means the image will be formed behind the mirror. So this is the place where it is going to be formed. So now over here we know this is the distance, so this is going to be positive, so it is v will be positive. Now, as far as heights are concerned, okay, object is always erect. If you see, if you observe this AB object, it is always kept erect in front of the mirror. We don't keep an object inverted. So object height, okay, that means your H or H1 in based on other textbooks, it is always going to be positive again. Why? Because it is kept erect. Image height, for that matter, again it will depend. If the image is real, it is going to be inverted, and we know when it is inverted it is going to point down. That means it is going to be along negative y-axis. So that means for real images, h dash is going to be negative. If it's a virtual image, virtual images are again always erect, it is going to be positive. Why? Because it is along positive y-axis, right? So this is your new Cartesian sign convention for spherical mirrors. Very, very important while solving numericals. You have to follow the sign convention, and otherwise you won't be able to get proper answers, or you won't be able to find out the proper position where the images are formed and what is the nature of image, right? So you have to follow this. This sign convention is not only applicable for spherical mirrors, but it is also applicable for lenses. Lenses, we will follow the same sign convention, even in case of lenses. Now, next we have very important relation that is called as the mirror formula. We know what is U. U is the object distance, V image distance, and F small f is your focal length. So if you see, this is the candle which is projected, it is the object. H is the height of the object, H dash height of the image, object distance U, image distance V, H dash small f focal length, right? So the mirror formula gives us relationship between U, V, and F. Okay, so according to mirror formula, there is a big derivation for this which you are going to study in your higher classes, 11th and 12th grade. So according to mirror formula, reciprocal of the focal length is always equal to reciprocal of the image distance plus reciprocal of the object distance. That means it is always 1 upon f. Okay, 1 upon f is always going to be equal to 1 upon v plus 1 upon u. Okay, this is going to be your mirror formula. That is 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon v plus 1 upon u. Very, very important. You just have to just imprint it your minds, because all the numericals, the sums, the questions are going to be based on this formula. Okay, so that says again 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon v plus 1 upon u. Same type of formula is again going to be there in your lenses part, just the only difference will be there, instead of plus it's going to be minus. So in lenses also you have focal length, you have image distance, you have object distance, so it will be 1 upon v minus 1 upon u, that we'll study in the next episode, right? So this is your mirror formula. Based on the mirror formula, we have to find anything which is asked. There are 3 quantities involved over here. Any 2 quantities will be given, find the third one. Okay, right. So now one more thing that we have is magnification. Magnification basically gives us an idea whether your image which is formed is a smaller image or it's a larger image. So magnification is the ratio of height of the image is to height of the object. Magnification produced by a spherical mirror gives the relative extent to which the image of an object is magnified with respect to the object size. It is also expressed as far as if it comes in definition. So you need to say it's the ratio of the height of the image to the height of the object. Normally, can you tell me, will it have a unit? No, it won't have a unit because it is the same quantity upon same quantity. So if you measure height in centimeters, it will be centimeter upon centimeter. So magnification won't have any unit at all. So if h is the height of the object, h dash is the height of the image, so the ratio given by them would be h dash upon h. So for example, if I say the my object height, so my h was, you say, 3 centimeters, and the height of the image which I got was 6 centimeters. So what will be my magnification? Magnification will be 6 upon 3, which is equal to 2. Okay, so magnification will be 2 times. That means we can conclude that the image formed is double in size that of the object. So conclusions can be drawn based on magnification. Okay, magnification m is also related to u and v. Another very, very important formula that we need to keep in mind. All the 5 quantities are related over here. We know that what is magnification? Magnification is your h dash upon h, which is also equal to minus v upon u. Very important. Almost it will be used in each and every numerical that you will be solving based on spherical mirrors. Okay, so magnification, we know it's h dash upon h, which is equal to minus v by u. Don't forget the negative. It's going to be minus v by u. So now, based on the entire sign convention, based on how images are formed in case of a concave mirror and a convex mirror, I have just given a rough idea to you how the signs are going to be there, right? So now we have just taken a comparison of concave and convex mirror based on all these quantities. So object distance u, we know whether it's any type of mirror, object distance is always going to be negative. In both concave and convex, it's going to be negative. Why? Because it's by default, object is always kept towards the left. Image distance, we know in case of a concave mirror, 2 types of images are formed. For the first 5 scenarios, images will be real. So object distance, image distance will also be real. If it's a virtual image, it is behind the mirror. So image distance is going to be positive. Now, can you tell me the type of images which are formed in convex mirror? Convex mirror always gives us virtual images. So virtual images are formed behind the mirror. And what is the sign convention behind the mirror? It's always positive. So V by default for a convex mirror will always be positive. Now, as far as focal length is concerned, for a concave mirror, where are the rays converging? The rays are, what is basically focal length? What is basically focus? So focus is the point on the principal axis where all your reflected rays meet. So in case of a concave mirror, all the reflected rays are meeting at a point in front of the mirror. That point will be your focus. And the distance between focus and pole, we call it as focal length. Okay, so as it is formed in front of the mirror, your focal length is going to be negative for concave mirror. For a convex mirror, we know how is a convex mirror. What's the nature of convex mirror? It's a diverging mirror. It will diverge the light rays. But when we take those light rays behind the mirror, it will appear to come from a point. Okay, this point will be behind the mirror. Now, as it is behind the mirror, the sign convention over there goes to positive x-axis. So positive x-axis, that means it will be always positive. Object height, again, object, we always keep the object erect, so it's always going to be positive for both the cases. Image height, again, if the images are real, it's going to be inverted. That means it's going to point downwards along the negative y-axis. So image will be for real image height is going to be negative. For virtual images, image height is going to be positive. In case of convex mirror, as all the images which are formed are virtual, it will always be positive. Now, magnification is concerned, we know what is magnification. It's h dash upon h. So in case of a concave mirror, if the image formed is a real image, so you know it will be negative upon positive, so that's going to be negative. For a virtual image, it will be positive upon positive, so hence it will be positive. In case of a convex, again, it will be positive upon positive, so it will always be positive because both the object and image both are erect. Understood? So this is just the crux of all the things that we have learned till now. Okay. Now let us try to solve some numericals based on the entire information that we studied till now. So whenever you deal with a numerical or a problem, always first of all see which type of mirror it is. Okay. And what all is given? UVF. These are the main things that would be given to you, and the type of mirror. Based on that, you need to find. So the question says an object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeter from a convex mirror. Okay, what's the type of mirror? The type of mirror that we are going to deal with over here is a convex mirror. So for a we know how are the image. So but just by taking an idea of the mirror, we know how are the image characteristics going to be. It will be always a virtual image. So now let's see if we get a little bit idea of that, we will be able to solve the question. The object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters. So when I say 10 centimeters, object is placed, that means that it becomes my U. U is my object distance, it's 10 centimeter. By default, object distance is always negative, so you will write U as minus 10. Focal length of the convex mirror. Here is the entire game changing part. If you don't consider what type of mirror it's going to be, you will directly write 15 centimeters. You will not take the sign into consideration, but it's always and always important to keep the signs whenever you write the given part. Okay, so for a convex mirror, how is the focal length? The focal length is always going to be positive, so write it plus 15 centimeters. We need to find the position and nature of the image. Okay, U is given, F is given. We know what formula are we going to use? By mirror formula. What is the mirror formula? Mirror formula is 1 upon F equal to 1 upon V plus 1 upon U. Write the formula, make a box. What do we need to find? We need to find V. So therefore, 1 upon V will be equal to 1 upon F minus 1 upon U. Now you substitute the values. So when I say this is so F 1 upon 15 minus 1 upon minus 10. So this minus and minus will be plus. So 1 upon 15 plus 1 upon 10. What do we do in this case? We will take an LCM. So LCM will be 30. We know 15 twos is 30 and 10 threes is 30. So therefore, 1 upon F is 5 upon 30. So that is equal to 1 upon 6. Sorry, 1 upon V, not 1 upon F. One upon V. So therefore, as 1 upon V is equal to 1 by 6, can I say that V is equal to plus 6 centimeters? Right? As there is no negative sign over here, we can consider that yes, V is positive 6. And this positive sign, what will this positive sign tell us? It will tell us the nature of the image, right? Because if V would have been negative, the image would have formed in front of the mirror. So in front, it would have been a real image. Now, as V is positive, you can write the conclusion. As V image distance is positive, I can conclude that the nature of the image, what is the nature of image? Nature of image will be virtual. And if it is virtual, we know virtual images are always erect. It will be virtual and erect, right? So this was the nature. Position, we can tell position will be, it will be 6 centimeters behind the mirror. The image will be formed 6 centimeters behind the mirror. Okay. Okay, so this is the way you should be solving your questions. Let us take one more last question. Okay. So now this question says an object of size 7 centimeters. Okay, object size is given. So that means your h is given, and we know by default h is always positive. So 7 centimeters. H is positive 7 is placed at 27 centimeters in front of a concave mirror. So which type of mirror are we going to deal with over here? Is going to be a concave mirror. What is the object distance? It is 27 centimeters in front. By default it is always towards the left, so we are going to take it as minus 27 centimeters of a concave mirror. Focal length of the concave mirror is given, so f, and as the mirror being a concave mirror, how is the focal length going to be? Focal length is going to be negative. If you just change the signs over there, if you don't take negative, your entire calculation is going to be wrong. Okay, now at what distance from the mirror should a screen be placed so that a sharp focused image can be obtained? So we need to, what do we need to find? We need to find v, and we also need to find the size and nature of image, h dash. Okay, now this is the given part. Now let's see, we know u and f is given, so by applying mirror formula we know 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon u plus 1 upon v. Write it, box it. So therefore 1 upon v equal to 1 upon f minus 1 upon u. Now we substitute the values. So therefore 1 upon v will be equal to, what is f? 1 upon minus 18 minus 1 upon minus of minus positive. Okay, fine. So this negative and negative is going to be positive. So can I write this 1 upon v? This negative becomes positive. So 1 upon 27 minus 1 upon 18. That we can do, right? So now we need to find out the LCM. How do we solve this? We need to find the LCM. So therefore 1 upon v equal to what can be the LCM of this? Yes, right? So 54, it's going to be 54. 27 twos are 54, and 18 threes are 54. So this is going to be minus 1 upon 54. So as 1 upon v is minus 1 upon 54, so therefore v is equal to minus 54 centimeters. So we got our image position. So what is the image position? Image position, the image will be formed at a distance of 54 centimeters. Okay, but what will be the nature of image? Where it will be formed? It will be decided by the sign of v. So the sign of v says it's negative. Negative sign tells us that the nature of image is real and inverted. Okay, so if it's real and inverted, it is going to be formed at a distance of 54 centimeters in front of the mirror. Okay, now what is the next thing that we have to do? We have to find the size as well. We know according to the last formula that we studied, that m is equal to h dash upon h, which is equal to minus v upon u, right? This was the formula. Now we have other things at our hand. We have found out v, we have found out u, h has also been given to us. So let us just formulate. So therefore can I say that h dash will be equal to h into minus v upon u? Yes, we can do that. So what is your h? H is positive 7 into minus of minus 54 upon, what is u? U is 27, right? So minus and minus is going to be plus. Right, this and minus will be plus. So this will, and this minus 27 will also be over here. So don't forget that. Otherwise, if you forget, your h dash will become positive, and if h dash become positive, it's going to be a erect image, right? So do not forget the signs anywhere. So you know this negative and this negative will cancel. We will have one negative at ourselves. So 2754 will be 2. One negative will be there. So 7 into 2, which is equal to minus 14 centimeters. So H dash. So hence the size of the image will be 14 centimeters, and the negative sign tells that it is going to be an inverted image. So at the end you have to give an entire conclusion which is of the phenomena or this entire situation. So you should say that the image is formed at a distance of 54 centimeters in front of the mirror. The nature of the image is real and inverted. Or you can just write it in this way, that the negative sign tells us that the nature of image is real and inverted. Size of the image formed is 14 centimeters. And they have not asked, but you can add it as an additional part. Magnification if concerned, so it's minus 14 upon 7, so that's minus 2. So that means it is magnified double. Okay, so the image which is formed is twice the size of the object. Understood? So this was your entire part of image formation by spherical mirrors. We also did the sign convention part. We also solved certain numericals, because one or two numericals are going to be there in your board examinations. You need to be thorough with this part. Okay, hope you have understood. If any doubts and difficulties are there, please do post in the comments part. And next class we are going to do very interesting, that the phenomena which we observe in our daily life, that's refraction of light. Without refraction, I don't think any atmospheric phenomena would have been taken place. Okay, so next class, be ready to study refraction. Going to be a very interesting class. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Thank you. See you soon. Stay tuned. Bye bye.